Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. And today we're having episode 2 of Bring the Boost, and we have another fellow YouTuber and a world record holder on in the team, part of the team. Even though we got opposing tuners on right now, this is going to be a really good conversation,
Yeah.
and he's going to give so much informative information because he's a world record holder and he has the information that you want and need about your VR30, and if you want to get a Nissan Z in the future. So, welcome Daily Q50. Introduce yourself to the team. Introduce yourself to the Boost in Motion family.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mikhail. You'll know me under Instagram name Daily Q50. So I currently have the fastest VR30 in the world, and let's say the quickest on no prep surface. Last run was 991 on no prep surface. The only car that ran quicker is the AMS Q60 on the track. So, but at lower mile an hour significantly. So it's it's a very exciting time. I think this year is going to be very exciting for us, especially with the Z dropping, and there are
Mhm.
quite a few high horsepower Qs coming out as well. So
Okay. So what made you even I don't know if you want to give more a little bit more background about yourself, but like what made you get into this realm? Like is this the first performance car you ever got into or
this is actually the first performance car I got.
wow. You
Yep.
just dived right into it. So what made
I
you go and
mean,
get a Q50 then? Like
I was so I wanted a quicker car for a while. I had a so I literally was here as a college student in the States. I immigrated from I didn't even immigrate. I just became a college student here in the States, and
Mhm.
then I ended up joining the army.
Okay.
So I was kind of a poor college student at first, and then
Most of
joining the
us.
army started to make it. Yeah, started making a little bit more money, and I
Mhm.
started off with a shitbox Scion TC that I bought
Ooh.
with
That car is not
170.
that bad. That car was fun. That's a fun car.
It's a fun car, but it was like a 170,000 mile
Woo!
10-year-old car.
Mhm.
So I beat on it. I had my fun, but and then eventually started having transmission problems, stuff like that. But I was already looking at getting something, so I was just doing my research on the internet and
Mhm.
seeing what I can afford and
Mhm.
what will be cheap and easy to modify. I never had an opportunity before to get into you know cars and modifying and racing, but I always wanted to at some point.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and this just was a perfect opportunity. I definitely watched some of your YouTube videos. I remember I was looking up,
Appreciate that.
like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like I was looking up all the Q50 stuff, and
Yeah.
I think you were still back on JB4 back then,
Yeah, just a boost
and
controller.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I was just comparing to what other platforms, and for the amount of money and the amount of performance it brought, and I like how it looked and it was
Mhm.
comfortable because I think the car that I wanted before, because I just wanted the upgrade because I bought my wife like a brand new Corolla before
Oh
deployment. I
yeah,
was just,
take care of
I
the
was just,
women. Yeah.
I was just a private, but I was like, you don't want to drive my car, I'll get you this one. And then I was like, I need something for myself. And
Mhm.
I was looking, I think I almost bought a like 2012 G37. Somebody was selling for like 12 grand, but it had
Okay.
like 30,000 miles on it.
Oh, it was super low
And
mileage.
super low mileage, just like in over up here in Raleigh, like very well maintained and everything. And I wasn't sure about it, so I missed the opportunity. And then I
Okay.
went on for a couple of more months thinking and doing research, and then I was like, and then when my car started having transmission problems, I
Well, that
literally
was
like,
it.
yeah, the only thing that I could do back in the day when that happened, I was like, I could probably change a tire and change the brakes, and that was it. And I was
Oof.
like, I don't know how to swap transmission, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I think it's time I get a
It's
Q50. So
time.
yeah, so I went on and got it $22,000 off Carvana. It was literally this is a Carvana car.
What?
Yep.
Oh man, somebody got a slip in transmission. They were pissed. Hopefully, they bought extended
Oh, no, no,
warranty
no, no,
for it.
no. I traded
Oh, I mean,
mine.
oh, the Q50.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Q50 was a Carvana car. The Scion I traded into, I got it for like $800 from a friend, and then I traded it back into CarMax like 2 years later or 3 years later.
They gave you a
Um,
little bit more money.
no, they gave me like $300.
Jesus Christ, you could have sold
It's
them in a
okay. I
straight
was like,
deal, man. You just wanted it
Probably
going.
not. It was like it was having really hard time shifting out of gears, and like first and second, it was just slipping. I was like, I don't want it. So yeah, and then
Okay.
got into the queue. My first mods were a burger heat exchanger. I watched a video. I got a burger heat exchanger on the car,
Mm,
and lower down pipes was my second mod. So, or actually, no, I'm wrong. Megan down pipes was my first mod, and then the heat exchanger was my second mod. I
man, I miss
literally
those days.
they
Miss
had
those days.
a they had a so on bases they usually have like the do it yourself type of facility that they just
Hmm.
provide you with tools and stuff like that, and
That's
you get a
actually pretty
lift and
cool.
whatever. Yeah, like guys even have like tire balancing machine there. So
Mm.
Derek goes and like
Oh
does
yeah.
his stuff there because he's he's prior service, and he has
Hmm.
one close to home, so he always goes and plays with it there.
Hmm.
So I spent like the entire day installing them lower down pipes on. I think my car was from New Jersey, so it was all rusted up. Like I was like
Oh
having issues trying
yeah.
to undo those cats.
But you
And
got it done.
I got it done, yeah. And my second mod was burger heat exchanger. I ran it with the OEM. I didn't even try to
Okay.
replace it. And then I got AMS downpipe, AMS intakes for a pretty good
Mm.
price. I think I was got it for like 350, and then I got a tune. I initially was tuned with Soho, and then I
Oh
switched to AMS later. Yeah,
yeah. I think Soho at that time was just coming into the realm, so they were still like learning the car too.
yeah. Like I mean, I think he did a good work on my car. He just I wanted more. The car wasn't as fast as I wanted it to be, so
Mm.
that was it. And then AMS started posting stuff, and I was like, dude,
Let me go check this
power looks
out.
strong. My car only made 410 horsepower. I'm like,
Hmm.
I want to see it. And I was having issues with my first gear too, but then I realized later my transmission was kind of not so good, and yeah, it
What do
was
you mean?
slipping out of first. So when I ran tens on E30, my first
Okay.
gear was slipping, so I had literally no second gear because by the time it shifted into second, I had to shift into third. So that
Okay.
like 1097 run on E30, I ran on a slipping transmission.
So basically, what you're so let's just jump right into the meat and the bones of it. All right. So what you're saying, if you were gonna give everybody a list, right, on how to run tens, stock turbo, not upgraded turbo,
Hmm.
and E85, break it down because you've had the experience. You went out there, you put in the work, bro. You put in the freaking work.
So it depends on what people want to do. Do people just want to have it on their daily car, or people just want to go and run a 10? If you want to run a 10, I guarantee you put some decent tires on the car, or
Hmm.
you even put a radial on the car. Um, I think with
All-wheel drive, right? Just started to jumping in, but all-wheel drive, of course, right?
I mean, it's possibly to do with rear wheel drive, but it's just gonna probably take a little bit more dialing in and getting used to it. Maybe a coilover,
Okay.
but like yeah, all wheel drive, you just get a full down pipes. It's is definitely like it's not no questions. You need full down pipes,
Hmm.
heat exchanger. Honestly, intakes or not, it depends on people. Like most people don't even get intakes for power,
Yeah.
but literally heat exchanger downpipes, and you can do like E30 race gas tune, a slap a set of Nitto triple 5R2s on the
Hmm.
back, same height as the regular street tires, like 275 4018 as your like literally as your stock tires.
Hmm.
Drop the cat back, take the seats out, and go run tens. That's it. The
I
car
mean,
will
that's if
go
you're
tens.
that's if you're trying to like go to track full send, so there's no
Yeah,
back pressure.
but that's
But
that's like the minimum amount invested.
mhm.
10-second car. But if you
Okay, okay,
obviously you know what I'm saying, that's it. That will do it. But if
wow,
you obviously want to just do tents in the full
full
interior,
interior.
everything, it's gonna be full downpipes, catback
Mhm,
exhaust, heat exchanger,
mhm.
E85, and what is it? Intakes.
I remember you were talking about different size exhaust, and you were playing with like H pipe or X pipe or something like that. Or am I wrong?
So my car made 820 horsepower on completely off the shelf MBRP exhaust. We did not modify a single thing about it.
Mhm,
So that's when people go and say this exhaust is gonna make more power than that one. Like we noticed that until 700 horsepower, back pressure was not rising up too quickly. So at
Yeah.
700 horsepower, it only had 4 psi of back pressure. Like it's very bearable. It's not significant. And then from 7 to 820, it went up another 3
It
psi.
would
So 7
increase.
psi is a
So it's
lot.
just
Yeah.
not flowing enough. Yeah. At that point.
Well, and we don't know if it was a it still made the power. The top end was slightly weaker, but we don't know if it was the inlet that is a 2.5 inch, that small inlet,
Okay.
for like just a tiny little piece, or is it the X pipe? So we're not sure. Or maybe it's just the I think the area of the exhaust versus open down pipes is gonna
Oh,
probably gonna have some sort of back pressure there too. I'm not
okay.
sure. I think the car is still at the shop. I think they're gonna try to cut the, because I already have the parts. They just need to cut and weld my pieces on there and maybe test MBRP without the smaller inlets, with the proper inlets, and we'll see. Maybe we'll, if it does drop another 3
Mhm.
psi of back pressure, then that's literally all you need. That's a I got that exhaust for $800 on
Oh
eBay.
yeah.
I made an offer. A friend of mine got it for that price, and he was like, "Dude," because I saw them selling it for like $1,000, and he was like,
Hmm.
"Dude, just make him an offer $800. They
Hmm.
will accept." And I made an offer.
Boom.
They
That was
did.
it.
Yep. And I mean, it's a raspy exhaust, but honestly, like I just
Got some
gave up.
resonators and call it a day. That's it.
Yeah, but it's an 80-pound exhaust, and like adding a little bit more weight to that exhaust, I'm like,
Stainless steel.
yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, um, I just gave up. A 3-liter V6 is never gonna sound good, anyways. So I don't care what anybody
It's
says. There are
hour. Hour.
so many other cars that sound so much
So
better,
much better.
and a 3-liter V6 just ain't it.
Yeah. Just the way
It
a
probably
car is.
it sounds nice at a wide open throttle, but when you're cruising and like getting on the throttle, it doesn't sound so good. Like
Mhm.
how good does your well, you got C63 there, right? Or
Oh yeah. I
E63?
can't. You can't compare these two
Yeah,
cars. It's one is a riot. One just it gives you
yeah,
eargasm.
yeah. And how like
Different.
B58 sounds really good. The
B58 sounds
freaking Daza sounds really good. Um, Coyote sounds good. LT
The
motors
only car
sound
that sounds
good.
worse than us is like a S55. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. Those don't get
Um,
those don't
so I
sound
have
good.
so I have some more questions for you. So
Yeah.
you had hit the record on stock turbos and everything like that. Now,
Hmm.
what would you tell as the community? What were some of the pitfalls of going on full E85? Injector issue, just things that you learned through experience that you would just tell people, hey, this is what to look out for fail points.
So fuel pressure sensor, number
Okay.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know some people, different tuners tune differently, right? I'll just tell you right away. AMS likes to run their cars a little bit rich, not very rich, but richer, because it's safer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to have a little bit more fuel running into the motor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that leads to higher fuel pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and I think at about like 20 MPa, which honestly every tuner runs, there is a risk of you just losing your fuel pressure sensor if you constantly run E85. Some
Mm-hmm.
people lose it on E30. I had my first symptoms on E30 as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just such an easy upgrade. You literally, like, I think AMS fuel pressure sensor is like $200. That's
Yeah, I
cheaper
seen it.
than if you buy a OEM one from Infinity.
And then
And
buy it again.
I had a pre-release unit that
Mm-hmm.
we pushed 28 MPa through that thing, like straight E85. It did not care. It still
So do
doesn't
you
care.
so do you
It
think it's just the full pressure fuel in your experience? Do you think it's a fuel pressure increase or the fuel sensor maybe maxing out voltage or something? Like what did AMS tell you?
it's not. I don't think it's maxed out voltage. That's the thing.
Okay.
Because the one that I have maxed out voltage. So I think after like 27, it starts going back to 1, 2, and whatever,
Mhm.
and or after 26. But the stock one, it doesn't even live to max out the voltage. It's, I
Oh
think, the
shit.
combination of pressure and ethanol just destroys it. It completely pops the sensor.
Okay, so
So
so you think that the ethanol literally just breaks down the sensor then too?
with the pressure, with obviously with the
Okay.
fuel pressure, just a combination of it. Yeah, I think just ethanol under that pressure probably just pops it. Because I'm not gonna lie, like uh not last summer, but the summer ago, like yeah, a year and a half ago, there are moments I would drive to work in limp
Mhm.
mode for like a few days straight because I was waiting on a new sensor. I lost four of them,
Oh
and
man.
that was up until AMS sent me a sensor to
And
test,
then that
and
was it. You never had that
that
issue
was
again.
it. Never had an issue again.
So we
And
really
I
can't.
would just, yeah, I would just hate for people to like. I would be making a pass at the track, and the car go limp mode, and I lost the sensor.
So then we could actually sit there and say that it's just not the 85 then. It just honestly just might be the sensor maxing out. Just can't read above a certain pressure. This is
No, no,
just,
no, no, no.
thesis.
It doesn't get to the pressure that it can. It doesn't get to the maximum voltage.
Voltage.
It dies before that. It
Okay.
just stops. It stops reading. It's done. So I think just
Okay.
the because on pump gas people don't really have that issue, but I think just the
Yeah, I don't have that
combination of
issue.
ethanol under high pressure kind of just damages the
Okay.
sensor.
What
And
what about injectors too? Before you, sorry about that. Go ahead.
so I lost my first. I lost only two injectors. I lost my first injector right after I put the high pressure fuel pump on. I literally
Like
they're like,
everyone
"Hey,
else.
yep, ether." I think my car wasn't like E24 or something, and they're like, "Just get me a log." So I get a log, and it literally like the moment I let off, injector popped. It stuck open. That was my first one.
Mhm.
Fortunately for me, I had everything replaced under warranty for
Mhm.
because they have a TSB for the fuel rails,
Okay.
and it was replaced under the TSB. And after that, um, I lost an injector. Not many people know about it because it was literally a day of me when I had to leave. But when
Mhm.
I went to Dan's funeral at when I was over at AMS,
Yeah,
um,
RSSO.
I literally did a quick pull and it lost an injector. But I think I filled up with E85 there, and the car wasn't feeling so happy. I
Happy
think
about it.
maybe the E85 was not so good, and
Mhm.
I know like some people over there like they have a funky E85 from like local gas stations or that. I think the E85 probably took that one out, just not being a good quality. Maybe had some water in it.
Okay.
But like yeah, no, did not since then. I never had like rails or injectors related failures or a sensor.
Well,
So
you had swapped over to which injectors after some point? Which injectors did you go with?
So I still stayed stock injectors when I got to Pures.
Okay.
I did a 10.5 because my already the other trends that I swapped in was not having it. And I don't know if it was just too cold and the fluid wasn't as good. Like there could like we can keep
Yeah.
guessing, right?
Mhm.
But it wasn't launching so good. And I just was doing I was doing 62 on 30s mainly. I did a 62 on 30 on stock injectors,
Mm.
and Jake was like, "Yeah, there's no injector left. Like that's
That's
it.
it.
You're
The
done."
duty cycle is too high,
Yeah, there was literally like zero point 0.1 millisecond left, and it was sometimes it would dip into zeros,
and you don't want to max
and
out because if you lose the injector,
yeah,
then you could lose the motor. You don't want that.
exactly. So, but it was good. We saw how much like that's why I tell people like you can make low 600s on stock injectors, no problem. It's and then just don't run high E85, run like E50
High
or whatever.
percentage.
Yeah,
Okay.
run like E50, keeps the timing low, keeps the car happy. It still makes good boost because once you raise the timing, you're gonna have to put more fuel in it, and then you're out of injector. So
And that's it. You're out of.
it kind of kills two birds with one stone. Not getting the injector, you're not gonna make that much power, and you're gonna keep
Mm.
the car somewhat safer. But then yeah, we
So
put the injectors in AMS injectors afterwards.
okay, that was it. But
Yeah,
did you go to AMS injectors once you put the pures in now? Because you're moving
that
on now, so
was
you can swap out the pure turbos.
so that was I ran for like a week on stock injectors, still on the
Hmm.
same ones that I had the latest revision, not the latest revision, but the latest set I got, and
Hmm.
then we put AMS injectors on the car because I did some quarter miles and then I basically reset the stock motor 62 on 30 time on stock injectors,
Hmm.
and then we went on to AMS injectors, and I was the first one to hit fives on stock motor
Yeah.
or hybrid turbos, so
Ooh.
the car was running
Another
really strong.
record, guys, for anyone's watching.
But yeah, well, that's the thing. I did fives, 5 seconds, 62 on 30,
Mhm.
literally like January 13th, I think,
Of about a year
2021.
ago.
And January 12th or whatever, I did
Yeah, you were back to back, man.
nines. I did nines again. Yeah, I just came back and just did it again. But like at that point, fives is a pretty, I would say, unsafe territory for to even try on stock motor, because we literally like we maxed it out. We saw the car was not happy. Third
Mm-hmm.
gear, there was some knock that happened in third gear on that pull. So
Mm-hmm.
after I did that pull, I was like, yeah, I'm not running that like I'm not running that file anymore. And Jake was like, yeah, we probably need to turn it down. And at like 25 psi, then it was fine.
For anyone that's watching, I just want you guys to know that he's just talking about because he's going for records, right? He's going for records. So he's going to push. He's one of the people who's pushing this platform to its absolute limit, just seeing what points or what parts of the car may mess up or break. And you have a great tuner from AMS, and they like to keep these cars pretty happy, man. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to jump in there and let them know just in case, because
Yeah,
I just want to make sure.
that's the biggest thing. Like I would like to say about the tuner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jake will absolutely push the car, send the car if that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of his customers just want a quicker daily. They just come in and like, hey man, can I make reliable power and safe power? I just want a little more power. So that's what he
Mm-hmm.
gives them. That's why there aren't, unfortunately, too many AMS tuned cars like
Mm-hmm.
mine that go out and just try to go full send at everything. So, yeah, majority of us customers just want to, like you said, reliable power. That's why I always tell people like, hey, what can I make on pure? So I'm like, without injectors, low 600s. With injectors, I was like, you probably want to keep it at 650. Anything after 650, you're kind of chancing it.
You're playing with it,
It
yeah.
might, hey, something might happen, something might not happen. So,
Are there any other issues that you ran into, with the pures or even on stock turbo, regular stock turbos that you might have not listed?
um, stock turbos wise, not really. Um, yeah, stock turbos. So my car just was having fueling issues on stock
That was
turbos.
it. You didn't have no problem with your
Um,
turbo seals, anything like that, correct?
no, no. So I had one replaced when I was completely stuck. Didn't have downpipe.
Probably had to hold
And
the full
my
turbo.
dealership was kind of like one of them dealerships that, oh, actually no, never mind, I had downpipes, I had lower downpipes. And the
Okay.
guys, in order to diagnose if I had a bad turbo, I forgot, like I told you, that was like my first mod that I did. I left a 12 millimeter socket on the
Oh my
on the
God,
bolt and
no.
the guys are like, in order for us to see if the turbos are what's making a noise, we're gonna need to take that socket off, and I'm gonna have to charge you $150 for it. I never went back to that dealership. I tell you that. But I had to pay because it was an hour and a half drive, and I was like, I just gonna have to do it. And
Yeah.
they found an issue. They found an oil in the turbo. They replaced the turbo, and the other one was later. He started having the noise, the chirping noise, and
Hmm.
I got to replace the second turbo. Literally like a month before I did tens.
Okay.
So those are like not revised 2019 turbo, so I didn't have any issues with them. They were making great boost and they were holding boost. My only thing is I had the 2.5 inch downpipes
Mm-hmm.
from the turbos. I had the Z1s and the Megans,
Hmm.
and I tell everybody that ain't it. Like people that are trying to make power on stock turbos, you need 3 inch downpipes.
3 inches.
Absolutely, 3 inch full downpipes. Because my car, like even as much boost and timing we put in the car on stock turbos, it only made like 500 horsepower. It was literally the dyno at 501. That's it. Because people were thinking that I was running more than that or I was spraying or anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, the car was just very well set up, and we found good shift points to shift the
Mm.
car on stock turbos, and it was just running really good. But it wasn't making that much power. So I think 3 inch downpipe is definitely gonna benefit a lot of people. But no, like I didn't have any issues on stock turbos. On pures though, um, the car ran on pures,
Okay.
and then we put a built motor in, and pures didn't run.
They didn't run, or like
Well,
you
I
just
mean, I
maxed them
ran
out.
with I held like 29 psi to the red line, and then the
That was
turbo
it.
exited. Yep, and the turbo exited.
Oh, you can't blame the purists for that necessarily. Let's be honest. You
I don't
can't
know.
blame
I
them for that.
honestly, I don't know what happened. My
You were going max effort. Let's be honest, because I don't want to beat up on pure. Like at the end of the day,
oh no,
turbos will go. after a certain amount of
So
RPM.
I'm not sure. Like a lot of people are having oiling issues with Pures, and turbos are smoking, and turbos are leaking oil. Some people think it has something to do with the oil return and feed because
Hmm.
they're still using the stock cover and nothing is modified, and they're pushing so
Hmm.
much more boost and power
Yeah, the
through.
RPM of the turbines are so much faster.
So the Pures actually run at lower RPMs, but
They
they're
ran out
pushing
low
so
RPM to
much.
hit 29.
Then no, that's that small one, that stock turbos.
Okay.
They, yeah, but they just push so much more volume through. So
Yeah.
maybe the pressure with like oil return or a feed, or there's something with it that makes them leak. They like or maybe they're just Friday Pures. I don't know, dude. Like,
So
but
so on video, because we're
yeah.
both like Q50, Q60 VR30 guys, and I know people you've talked to in the platform and I talk to. Do you think it's common that pures may have caused these leaking or failures quite often, or do you think, or you don't think so?
You mean they cause? What
I
do you
mean,
mean?
not the
Like,
cost, but like, do you think they would leak if you're really trying to max them out? Like,
no. Like
the reliability go down
the
as you try
some
to make them
no.
faster.
Some of them that I've seen, they would just leak. They just
Mhm,
like guys weren't pushing them. They would push them like 25, 26 psi, which is most pure turbo E85 cars do, anyways.
mhm.
And some would have it, and some would be fine. I don't know. It's just something about them. Then, but
Well,
even then, some people would have leakage, but they would run fine, and they don't have any issues.
I do want to beat up not only on pures. I want to make it fair. Um, Also, I've had people tell me RTs have leaked, and even in stock turbo. So I don't really think it's necessarily just pure thing. I think
Hmm.
it's just honestly the way that the OEM turbos are designed. Like you
Yeah,
said,
it
the
could
way
be.
that the
Yep.
oil drain and feed and stuff. It may just honestly come from that.
Yeah, possibly, very possibly. Um, RTs, I haven't heard any like oil issues, but I've heard that they run extremely high, and they just like they're not really good at making power at all because they still have the small turbine, and they run because of that they run very hot. Like pures
Hmm.
run hot, but RTs are just crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, those like I mean it's very hard to make something that is gonna be both efficient and cheap and
Hmm.
good in that tiny little space and frame that we have. I've heard
Okay.
there are some Canadian turbos, but we will see.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
Turbo Parts Canada or
yeah,
something like that.
TPC
Mhm.
turbos.
Mhm.
Apparently, the compressor size is close to what my turbos have, but obviously, again, they have the same aero, and how efficient are they gonna be, and how hot are they gonna be? Like it's all gonna depend to and go into how much power they're gonna make. Like we'll
Mhm.
see. I know a few guys are running them, but they haven't. Nobody have really posted them at a serious boost and what they're gonna run. But I think at this, I think they're just gonna run into the same issues, the stock cover problems. That's what's gonna happen. But hopefully they don't.
Mhm.
But I'm not really like.
Well,
I
right now
think
you
they're
got
gonna
Garrett, so it don't even
they're
matter. It
gonna
don't even
yeah,
matter anymore.
exactly. But I'm just saying for everybody out there, like I think they're gonna make more power than Pures because they're just
Oh yeah, they're delivering
made
more air,
different.
literally.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're made differently, and
Mhm.
but think they're probably gonna run into the same issues that Pures and RTs are having at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So we're just gonna see.
Okay,
But yeah, my Pures, because they reported, I was
mhm.
able to hold a good amount of
High
boost to the
boost.
red line. Yeah, I ran we had like 29 psi to the red line, but
So would
and
you
then the turbo blew
recommend
up.
people porting their RTs or Pures if they're gonna swap them in one time?
So one of the guys that got RT V2s, he just posted on Infinity forum that he got him on the
Yeah.
Facebook page. His compressor cover definitely looks ported. Like it is pretty
Mhm.
decently ported. So I don't
Mhm.
know if RT's ported them or he got them ported elsewhere,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure about RT's. They're just like they're still using the stock. They're still
Uh,
using the stock
Hot
turbine.
side.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I don't think they're gonna be very reliable after 600 horsepower. Like it's probably just gonna be running out of turbo very much. But pures, anybody that wants to like really pick up top, you should port pures.
Mhm.
Like I think I had some comparison where non-ported pures will hit over 30 psi,
Mhm.
on built motor, and it will taper down to like 24
Yeah.
up top because they're not ported. And my pures will keep like kept like 29 to the red line. So
Mhm.
that's 5 psi difference up top.
I guess I think the term is, I don't know, I could get the term wrong. It's probably vacuum or less friction of the air, whatever way that they call that. I'm
Yeah,
not an
I don't know,
engineer.
man. I'm not that smart. I just
Yeah.
drive the car,
You drive the
and I
car.
I just listen to
So
smart people, and you know,
I have a question. So you did include here that you went and got a built motor. Like,
yeah.
why did you build your motor? Because you had pures, you went on stock. Like, what made you go and do the built motor?
Well, when I ran fives, 62 on 30, like I said, the car was not very happy,
Mhm.
and we had to turn down the timing,
Mhm.
but we couldn't raise boost like we weren't gonna try to push it on stock. I think I definitely made around 730 on the couple of runs that I did on the stock
Mhm.
motor, and that is very like we saw a car knocked on one run, and the other run the KR went like negative 2.5 or something, and I was like
Mhm.
just like mid run, and I heard it because I ran cutouts. It's always the best part about running cutouts. You always hear, like you can always hear if the car is
You could hear
breaking
something
up, if the
different.
car is misfiring, if the car is having like pops or anything. Like you can always hear that. And I was like, yeah, the car was like breaking up and not having good time up top. So we ran like 3 passes
Mhm.
and we turned it down. And I was like, well, what is it? I'm gonna run like mid sixes or low sixes. I'm like, I don't want it. I want more. I want to go
Mhm.
faster. I was like, I know these turbos can go faster. So
Mhm.
um, I kind of chilled out for a little bit and then got with the AMS and we got a built motor, and at the same time I got with level 10 and we got a built transmission. So with level
Okay.
10 I
So
got
you
the
did it one time.
1000.
Everything one time.
All together, and I got the diff and the transmission at the same time. Diff and the drive shaft.
Okay. So you got the diff, the drive shaft, you said level 10 transmission.
Hmm.
The motor is the AMS is AMS
AMS.
exclusive built motor, right? Is it closed deck or no?
No, I literally have. Well, the back in the day they called it stage zero. Now they changed it to stage one. I literally have rods, pistons, and bearings.
Mm.
That's it.
Okay,
That's
they
all the
probably
motor
did the head
has.
studs too, I would assume. So they probably did
There
that
was
stuff too.
no, I didn't. So from what I heard, they did not do the head studs.
Oh, that means this motor could
Yeah,
definitely, the heads don't lift. That's good.
yeah.
Probably only
So that's the
needs some
thing.
gasket too.
That's the thing. 35 psi boost is still on stock head studs. So
Hmm. That's pretty good. There's a lot more headroom.
yeah,
Okay, so
and
then and then
still on the OEM plastic manifold.
okay. Yeah, but not compared to
I'm
BMW where
just.
their manifolds crack.
Well, I heard the guy in China or over in that part of the world put a hole in his manifold at 42 psi. So maybe we have some room to go.
I don't know how you put a hole in it. But the manifolds
Like
are
it's
pretty
the
cheap. You get
manifold.
them
Yeah,
anywhere.
the manifold just blew up. Yeah, like at 42 psi.
Yeah, you
So
could just it's not even a hard thing to fix. All right, so then you had then put in the pures, ran the fastest time, which was what, a 10?
I did a 10-12. So when we turned up, I only did like 3 quarter mile passes on
Mhm.
pures. I did a 10-18. We turned it up a little bit more. I did a 10-12. And at the
Mhm.
same power that I did 10-12, I started a run with a 250 0 to 60.
Mm.
And the moment it hit peak boost in third gear, the turbo just gave out. So,
Oof.
yep. So
So
if
guys.
so, the 10-12. Just check this out. 10-12 was about 267,
Mhm.
and 254 could have been a 999 possibly,
Mm.
and a turbo gave out. So,
Oof.
like nines is possible on pures. It's just like it's
That's
gonna be
max
close.
effort.
It's gonna be close. Yes, it's gonna be very close.
Max effort. Yeah,
But I
that's
also never
mhm.
ran race gas or anything. Never ran any sort of race gas in my car up until
Mm.
Garrett's. So
Ah.
maybe on the race gas and
So
people will run a
that's
little bit
why
more
you went with the
timing.
Garrett's.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
why you went with the Garrett's,
absolutely.
right? Okay.
Well, I wanted
Okay.
the Garrett's initially once we're building the motor, but we're like just gonna see what the Pures can do.
Mhm.
So I
Okay,
think a pure
so
turbo is. Oh, I'm gonna say it like really quick. I think a pure turbo. People are looking at pure turbo and want to keep stock motor. I'll say it's very possible to do mid to low tens, like anywhere between 10.3 and 10.5 is very possible. It's all up to
is
the
the
driver.
common mhm.
It's all up to the driver. If they want to completely max out pures, I think they can hit a 9.9 to like a 10.1 but that's gonna be running out of turbo. So
That's hero runs, guys.
yeah.
That's what hero runs. All right, so then now the Garrett turbos you went with, are these an AMS exclusive turbo kit they were talking about, or
So
no?
so I'll just pull this up. I think I didn't know if we wanted to talk about it, but
I'm gonna bring it
AMS.
up, man. Come
Well, no,
on.
no, no. I didn't want to. I didn't know if me and AMS wanted to talk about it, but they posted it, so I'm just gonna quote them.
Yeah, if it's for the public, then it's not a problem to talk about. I know that
Yeah.
you know all the intricacies behind AMS.
So right here, AMS stated when they shared the last post of my car,
Hmm.
with our own Red Alpha Q60 getting a new turbo system for the upcoming 2022 season, it was a perfect opportunity for Mikhail to carry on the torch and utilize our old R8 800 turbo set
Hmm.
up to see what he could do with it. So Red Alpha is getting new turbos, and I'm using old Red Alpha's turbos.
So you're like point 0.5 and they're about to go be point 0.1. Oh, that
Yes.
sucks. But look what
So
you're at though in power. So how much did you make for anyone who's watching? So with a built motor from AMS, transmission from level 10, fully 85, the accessory bolt-ons, how much did you make on a dyno on a I don't know if you want to disclose PSI or anything like that because that doesn't really matter. But on conservative tune, how much did you make?
we ran a E45 with Sunoco 104 octane
Mm-hmm.
and 50/50 methanol injection. We did a 830. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jake turned it up. He Because we're out of direct injection, he had to put more 104 in it and lower the E content to E30.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it made 862. Yeah, to
862
the
guys.
wheels on a dyno jet.
Your Uber Q50, not yours, but your
Yeah,
Uber Q50 guys that are watching, 862 wheel. So that's pretty much a
yeah.
thousand horsepower to the crank. For anyone who wants to know, he's officially a thousand horsepower car too.
And the thing is that, like I said, we're still running about a 104 octane, right? With a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of like it's about probably octane is about a 104, and we're not using meth for timing. We're not using meth for octane. It's mainly just an additional fuel supply. So technically, if we out to go and run 120 octane fuel
Mm-hmm.
and deliver some more timing, or we run, you know, if we can do and run fully 85 somehow in the future and deliver more oxygen with the E85, I
Mm-hmm.
think the car can probably make 900 horsepower.
Oh, it could definitely do it. It could
So
definitely do
yeah,
it.
right
Mhm.
now we're limited by direct injection. So
Do you think it's only that? Because now we could talk about some of the things we're seeing in the community. Full air-to-air setups are coming out now, and I know AMS is probably looking at this like, "Huh, is this feasible? Is this not?" But in your opinion, just from what you see in results on people just with stock turbos, you think this might be something that might be something in the future for your car?
absolutely not. No,
Okay,
all the fast track cars run air to water.
but you're still on the stock air-to-water intercoolers, correct?
Yes.
So don't you think those are maxed out too? Are you looking to upgrade those for additional cooling?
I don't know yet. So right now with
Hmm.
the race heat exchanger and additional pump, my car on a 99 pass it went from 75 degrees charge air temps up to 138 degrees charge air temps at the end of the run, and
Hmm.
literally 30 seconds later the temps
The
drop
recovery
back
time
down.
was yeah, the
The recovery
recovery
time
time,
was
yeah.
30 seconds to drop back down to like 80
So
in
I mean,
logs. So it's work like I think that the intercoolers are working. The factory intercoolers are very efficient. But hopefully there will be something in the future because I mean the Z is coming out. Like I
mhm,
what I'm like knowing that the Z is coming out.
mhm,
Hopefully the platform. Everybody knows this. The platform badly needs better cooling all
mhm,
around. Platform needs port injection. That is not even a question. Like the only thing that BMW outside of a like just a better gearing transmission. I'm not even gonna say that transmission is a better, it's just better gearing. I mean,
mhm,
the way my transmission shifts is pretty. It's not putting my car anywhere slower than them. It's just the gearing offsets my power band.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the port injection is so big for their cars because they run dual
Mm.
injection, so they have the controller and everything. The port injection
Enough
only
fuel.
kicks in when they're racing, like they have all that fuel that they want. And I'm here like we have to mix down to E30, because we're out of fuel. So with just that, more efficient cooling, and maybe like a TCM tune, but it's probably not happening. Well, crap, we
Probably
get a
not.
9-speed swap. Like our cars will make a really good power, and our cars will be very, very comparable to B58s because, like air to air, right? Air to air.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what AMS did for B58 platform.
I actually don't know. I haven't looked into what they have done.
Their Supra manifold, their
Mm-hmm.
B58 manifold. That is like a dual intercooler with port injection. Like that thing is just amazing. And I think Jackie Ding, the one that literally like goes and wins, or at least takes podium in every time attack event he runs with his Supra,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike Body were like I think the two cars that ran their manifold pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Mike Body has 1,000 wheel horsepower Supra, the fastest MK5 Supra in
Mm-hmm.
the world. And he was like, yeah, he made a post, the manifold is so good, like the car is just running amazing times, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's all air to water, it's all coolant system. So
Yeah.
they don't have a, I don't know if he has the icebox, but like they're just, these are like the most, probably the two hardest ran Supras out there, and they're
Well, I would
fully
interject
content
here
with their
by
air
saying
to
this
water.
though. I would interject by saying this though. Like I noticed most manufacturers try to max out the OEM systems. That's why they have more coolant, more capacity,
Hmm.
and everything like that. But what I'm saying, just looking at the numbers, it seems as if this could be a liable solution in the possible future. It's kind of like, because if you're trying to compare two different type of racing, if you're racing for 10 seconds, I don't really see the area really being that much of a benefit because the amount of money that you might have to spend into just modifying it.
Hmm.
But if let's say we want to take our cars to actual road course, we're done. The
Well,
heating
that's the
system
thing.
will be done. It'll be done.
That's the thing. Jackie Dean example that I brought, right? His Supra is a time attack car,
Yeah, but we're
and
talking about Supras now. We're not talking about
but
Q50s.
he's
You got
got
to.
the upgraded manifold, which has upgraded intercoolers in them.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
they
guess
have. For anyone
we're
who's
just gonna sit
watching,
and wait.
yeah, for anyone who's watching, usually the B58s they have an integrated plastic, from what I remember, plastic air to water intercooler system. It's a
Yeah,
pretty
in their
efficient
manifold.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah, compared to ours, we don't really have an integrated. It is kind of part of
and
it, but
there's,
it's
yeah,
not
it
as.
just manifold, like the intercooler is
Yeah,
right in front of the throttle body, and then it goes in the
yeah,
plenum.
it just
So it's
throws
just a
in,
little bit
but
different.
I don't know what our capacity is, but Drop Bear LLC did make a triple pass. Only a couple people use it. There was some information out there, but I guess the price point is a little bit too expensive for a lot of people. So at
And
the
I
end of the
think
day,
the biggest thing about those intercoolers that we haven't seen any real world data. We have not
mm,
seen anybody um, putting it on a higher horsepower queue and running them. And
mm,
like, I mean, if I have to think if there's a really, really good intercooler solution, at
mm.
least high race box horsepower cars will be running them. So,
Okay, okay,
but I
all
guess
right.
we'll just wait and see. I'm very excited. I know a lot of shops are coming out and saying that they got the Z and they're gonna do things with the Z, and
Mm,
I'm pretty sure like these things are gonna come, like the upgraded
mm.
cooling, the port injection, the hopefully maybe a transmission too, and I don't know, like, but I'm
Do you see
I'm a
yourself
very
get the
excited.
Z?
Um,
Do you
yes,
want to do it all over again, basically?
I wouldn't mind, but I think the Z is just, if I do get the Z, it's gonna be maybe about in a year out, or a year to
Mm,
a year and a half out, and it's probably gonna go like full race car. I'm gonna go
right
full
out the gate.
send right out the gate. I mean, like I will do stages of modifications. I'll probably max out stock turbo first, and
Mm.
just go for a stock turbo record, and then we'll go full build. So we'll see, but I'm very excited about the Z. I think I'm definitely gonna take advantage of what the Z is gonna bring to the Q platform for at least another year. Because here's another thing. I already said it that I want more for the Q already. I was like, I already want the VR32, and I want the bigger turbos at this point. But it's probably gonna be another at least a year or so before I upgrade further. So
This guy's trying to
Because
be the fastest, most
I
powerful
do want to make
Q50 out
four
here,
digits.
basically.
Yeah, I do want to make 4 digits. So
Man, I love this Q. So for the people that's also watching, I'm gonna ask him a couple questions because he brought up the B58. And he does got a BMW too. So there's a
yeah.
war going out there for anyone who's watching. In your honest opinion, comparing the Q50 to the B58 platform, just 340s, 440s. Let's leave the super out of it because we don't really have a comparison for that necessary yet. And honestly, in your opinion, what do you think is better? I know it's gonna be a little bit biased though.
Um. So out the box, just no modifications, nothing. The B58 is definitely more of a driver's car. Like it's already geared from factory to have a good dynamic suspension, have a really good TCM tune in it for people just enjoy driving it.
Mm-hmm.
There's just BMW is like an enthusiast driver platform.
Mm-hmm.
Qs are not because they're just the suspension is mushy. It's all about comfort, and they're just a bigger car.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we look at M340 and M440, those are about the size of a Q50, but their driving
Mm-hmm.
experience, people say, is even better than the F platform. So, but and obviously it's easier to modify,
Mm-hmm.
but the motor is expensive, transmission is expensive. Like I've seen and I've heard, and I just I spend time on those forums and do research. People have been
Mm-hmm.
blowing up on stock turbos, and people have
Yep.
been losing motors. And I had
They have
a
a
case that
Vanos
I
issue
was,
also. Mm-hmm.
yep, and I talked to one of the shops that actually they did my alignment when I was in Chicago, and they said they had a customer that blew up on stock turbos, came in and did a he could only afford a refresher for his motor. He blew up on the off the shelf tune, and it was $11,000 to just do a refresher, not even put upgraded internals in the car. So those motors are not cheap to blow up, and I think nowadays, unless you have a deliberate, like 100% sure that you bring into the dealership and you get a plug and they'll fix it for you under warranty, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
plug your car in and see that it's tuned, and you're gonna lose your
That's it.
warranty.
That's it.
Like it doesn't
BMW
happen
is a
with Qs
lot
like
less
that.
lenient than
Yep.
Infinity. People don't know that. And I also
The
did
P-
do a video about, I think a year and a half to 2 years ago, I think it's about a year ago, comparing the VR30 to the B58. And I did break down the price of just buying a used motor. Their motors are like 5 to 6 to 7K.
yeah,
Ours, you can find, if you look, you can find it for 1,500 to 2,000 with
yeah,
accessories. So you
yeah.
could pop our motors every day. We'll
A
buy two or
whole
three a
a
day.
whole dropout motor, dressed motor and transmission for a Q is $3,000. Like
You can find it.
that's fully dressed motor, hooked up transmission, everything. And like that's the thing. The biggest difference in the community is when the VR30 a Q blows up, people like, oh, it's such a shit car, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna go BMW, and they go into BMW community, and the guy's like, oh, I just blew up, and the guys are like, well, you knew you're modifying the car and you're gonna get a race car, so
Mhm.
things you pay to play, things blow up, go get
You buy
yourself
them
another
3
one.
for that,
Or
not a
yeah, or
B50.
but I mean, you know what I'm saying. Their approach is like, oh, did you blow up? Well, you should have known and had some money set to the side to fix it. So
Mhm.
there's a very different approach. People here don't want to have issues, and once issues happen, they get upset. But in a beaver community, it's kind of expected that the car might have issues, and then they're just
Mhm.
ready to kind of open up their pocket again. So,
It's a different culture.
but I think full like obviously B58 can handle more on a stock motor. Those motors can handle more power. The transmission cannot handle more power safely. The transmission starts slipping at 650.
It's
Uh,
it's right around where our transmission is, somewhere right around
yeah,
there.
yeah. But I think ours can actually like handle the abuse much longer than theirs, because
I
theirs
wonder
is a
why.
pretty weak trim. Theirs is like a 50 trim. That's like 500 newton meters.
Mm,
They're like the lowest bottom of the barrel ZF8 trim as far as handling power. It's still a
mhm.
good ZF. It's still a ZF8, but it's just not as strong. And their transmission build is 10 grand. Nobody wants to, honestly, like people should not be getting a stage one ZF8 transmission build. So they're gonna throw 10 grand in the transmission. Here we can get one for 5 or 6 grand. So here's an example. But like stock motor, if I would out to and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go run nines on the stock motor 340 and stock transmission. I don't want to do it because I know the car is gonna be in borrowed time and something can
It's
go
gonna
wrong.
pop. It's gonna break.
Exactly, something is gonna go wrong. It might last 6 months, it might last a year, or it might last a week. So that's why I'm holding off on building it because once I make 700 horsepower more in that BMW, I want it to be ready and reliable. I will have the built motor and the built transmission, and it will be ready for 850 or 900. It's like, but the when the both cars are fully built, I
Mm-hmm.
think VR30 definitely
You think so?
VR30 can make more power. Yes, it's a twin turbo.
I'm talking about full decks to the wall. I mean, both of
Yeah,
them are well. The VR30 is gonna be closed deck, of course, built
yeah.
rods. Also,
So
the B58 built rods,
compare.
everything.
So what are the Supras making like 1100 right now? Right, like the highest horsepower Supras are making 1100. We have VR30s that make around 900 on just rods and pistons.
The
So,
reason why,
but
the reason
those
why
cars are
VR,
on strokers.
mhm. The
The
reason
Supras
why
don't.
I would agree with you is if all cars were equal playing field, closed deck, their best
Yeah,
turbo or upgraded turbo. Literally, I think we're only gonna win because we have additional turbo. Literally,
exactly,
that's it.
exactly.
That's
So
literally
like,
it.
that's where I'm trying to go with the cars that we're talking about, 4-digit Supras. They're running a 3.2 liter. They're already a stroker. Like there is no, closed deck or not closed deck. That's a fully built motor.
Mm-hmm.
So once we put VR32 in our cars, and let's say not even G25 660s, which are 54 millimeter, but maybe if we
Mm-hmm.
can fit a G30s
Mm-hmm.
in there, that's a 1400 horsepower freaking turbo set. And it's a twin 58 millimeter turbos on 3.2 liter. They're gonna breathe pretty decently, and they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna make serious power.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I love this. I love
That's what
this.
I'm
So,
saying. That's like twin turbo is just it's
and
so easy to make power, and you're gonna make power down low.
I'm gonna start closing now. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. So,
Hmm.
all in all, if you want to disclose it, how much do you think you're invested now into this
Yeah,
build?
that's. I mean, the car is sponsored by multiple shops, so I
But
definitely
just a
didn't
rough
invest.
estimate of what you think you would have spent by
Oh,
now, even if they took
doing
care of you or not.
everything, doing everything right the first time go, probably a easy 40 grand.
$40,000.
Yeah,
That I think for anyone who's watching, that's actually pretty cheap. Because if
yeah,
you compare that to a GTR making similar power, that GTR transmission is gone. That's a $20,000
yeah.
build
And the
for a
motor is
transmission.
gone too. So
The motor, the rods they say is somewhere around 650 pounds of torque. That's going too. So you have to do a build on a VR38. Those two things already surpassed 40 grand just alone, the transmission build and the motor build. So it's way more cost efficient. I
and
really want
again,
to see other Q60s.
I paid 22 grand for the car with 30,000 miles on it.
Mm.
So let's say MSRP somebody would be around $60,000 and made $65,000 into the build.
But no
That
one's
is
gonna get
still
this car.
cheaper, huh?
Yeah. No one's gonna get this car new. You're gonna get it used, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that is still
22 plus
cheaper.
40 grand,
Yeah,
60 something, 65,000, basically, some rough estimate for a 800 wheel horsepower.
the
Q-
860,
Sorry,
860 at this point. Yeah.
862. I apologize for anyone's watching. 862 wheel horsepower, built motor, built trans, everything. And there's still more. He has not hit his glass ceiling. That's the price of a used 2010 GTR right now.
Yeah.
Stock. You It's a good investment, man. If you want numbers, this is definitely the build. Now if you were, let's say you got rid of the BMW and the Q50, what would be the next? Because I don't know if you like four doors like me. What would be the just randomly another four-door vehicle you would want to replace these two cars?
An RS3 for sure. There's no
Ah,
question. There's
man, a
absolutely
cheetah
no
car.
no
Ah,
question about it. It would be an
cheetah
RS3.
cars,
But
man.
you kind of put me in a corner. You said a 4-door, but honest,
Yeah,
like
that's fine. That's fine. I'm
most
just playing with
likely
you.
not. Yeah, most likely not getting rid of the Q. But
Mm-hmm.
if I out to build another platform, it would definitely be a twin turbo 10R.
Ooh.
Also, yes, I can give you another 4-door. It's a twin turbo 10R. It's a F-150. Those cars are
Mm.
even worse. Like RS3s are yes, but I think a 1400 horsepower twin turbo F-150 is something absolutely out of this world. It's
And
absolutely
there's not really that
ridiculous.
much invested there, really.
Yeah,
Just the transmission, if you really want. There's people who's running eights on stock block. Like, what are we
yeah.
talking about here? It's
On the
scary.
street, literally, like just like
It's
my car did,
scary.
stop and go, and it's a
Sealed.
truck.
Sealed.
Yeah,
The only fear
those
I think they had was like some ring gear or something like that.
they
I
had
think it was that.
retainers and studs, I think.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
really
like,
it. Wow, that's actually a dope build.
yeah,
Let me see.
we have a Coyote here, like about a couple hours away. He's stock motor running low eights. He was in
Mm,
Florida 2K doing like roll racing and stuff. It's stock motor, just a twin turbo kit.
sealed.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's freaking crazy, man.
So
So
I mean, but
just
that's always going to be cars that are cheaper and
yeah, I
faster,
mean, of
and
course, there's no there's no replacement for displacement, especially when you have two turbos. I think the last question. This is probably this should be the shortest amount of question. If somebody wanted to make 450 wheel horsepower, shoot essentials, 450 wheel horsepower.
full downpipes, catback exhaust, heat exchanger, and if they want to add intakes, and the tune, obviously.
Cool. Second question. If someone wanted to make, uh, is it really achievable to hit 500 wheel all day, every day on stock turbos? Do you need injectors? Sorry, do you need
No, you
upgraded
do not.
injectors to hit consistent 500 wheel on E85?
You do not need injectors. No.
Okay, cool.
I would
Um,
recommend a bigger bore pump though if people want to make slightly more on stock turbos.
so just
So
the big
big
bore,
bore
like okay,
180 or XDI 60, people
okay.
should
So
be
we
making.
definitely need
Yeah,
upgraded. Also the low pressure if anyone's watching too, right?
yeah.
We
Well, you can
definitely
you
need
can
that.
still make 490 or 500 on the smaller
On the
pumps,
stock low
but
pressure flip pump.
it's gonna be no, 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 on like the 338 and FX 150 and the Evo.
Okay.
But it's gonna be like pretty close pushing. Like the cars will have a more top end, but they
Mhm,
are gonna be pretty limited mid range because high pressure fuel pump runs off
mhm.
of your cam and RPM. So the lower in the RPM band, the lower it flows, the less it flows. But
Okay.
the big bores can flow more in the mid range, so that's why.
Here's another question that I haven't seen that people ask. Running 91 to 93 on upgraded turbos. Have you done that? How was the performance?
So 500 horsepower and you're done pretty much. And I don't think RTs can even hit that, honestly. Like
Mm,
just RT on a stock fuel system, you're probably doing high force. Pures on honestly, pures on stock fuel system on 91 and 93 is probably your best bet because then you're
mhm,
just not flowing enough to build the boost and cause issues like some people have.
mhm.
You're just gonna run like, I don't know, 18 psi and a little bit low, like,
And
I don't
call it
know,
a
10,
day?
12 degrees of timing, and it feels good. I'm not gonna lie. I was in a stock fuel system pure car, and it
Mm,
felt pretty quick up top because it
mm,
doesn't. And when I was on stock turbos, I gapped it on stock turbos
mhm,
all day, every day,
mhm.
but it felt nice. Like the stock fuel system 93 pure turbo car felt good up top. So
Okay.
for like somebody that just wants a reliability, a car that feels good once they punch it, like it's not a bad option. It's not a bad option.
Okay. I think the last question is all right. So knowing that you had all the different stages of power,
Yeah.
which one do you honestly think is the most reliable in the sense of if you had to stop for a daily car, full interior, still your aftermarket exhaust, where would you have stopped?
Definitely pure turbos on like stock injectors.
Ah, okay.
And if injectors go, can upgrade injectors. I have not seen like that many people losing stock injectors on pure turbos when they're not pushing the car. If they're making like 620, 630,
Mm,
and about 620, I would say
mm,
probably 620, 630, yeah, and they're just, the car is happy, the car runs good, the car runs good amount of fuel still. It's
mm,
not, you're not pushing too much ethanol through the car, you're not pushing too much power through the car, and it's, the drivability is very nice because
mm,
you're staying out of boost a lot more often than
mm,
with stock turbos,
mm,
and it's a very good setup, and you get the power, you know what I'm saying. You're not like stock turbos on E85 500 horsepower, just
mm,
like completely abusing them little snails. You have turbo that can go more, so
Mhm.
there's always room, but you feel comfortable with having additional room and not
So
using it.
so 600 wheel is right around the nice comfy zone, nice daily reliable, no issues, no problems, no fueling pressure issues, just right then and there.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. I like that. So we're about to close it out, guys. So Daily Q50, I appreciate you so much. Include first thing, the links are gonna be low to any of his social medias, just in case you guys made it to this part. But also on top of that, I want you to plug any information out. And lastly, I don't know, maybe leave guys with a message. I don't know, whatever you want to do. I'm still learning learning this, but
Ugh, I
one,
don't know. I mean, honestly, just this is a tuner platform. That's how I feel about it. Everybody now says, "Oh, why did you have this car? Just go get a faster car." Or, this car costs more, but you only need 3 months and it will go faster. But is this why we modify cars and get tuner cars? No. Like, this platform is I think a perfect definition of a 2022 tuner car. You literally buy it and you modify almost every single thing about it to your liking, and then you get the results. And the people that want to modify and the people that
mhm,
want to be proud of their build and enjoying that their car is different from others, don't
mhm,
just turn away from cues, because that's what it is. I think it's more of a culture than just having a faster car with less modifications, a better factory car, because there's always going to be a better factory car. There's always going to
mhm.
be a, I don't know, twin turbo Mustang or a twin turbo
Yes.
V10 that's just going to completely obliterate anything that it sees. And no amount of you just getting a little six cylinder and a better, I like how they put all these like S58 memes, how they show up,
Mhm.
and just, but S58, I mean, it's a good platform for a factory,
Yes.
but where does it stand versus, again, a twin turbo Coyote or a twin turbo V10?
Mhm.
It's got so much room to still
Grow.
grow and develop. So just enjoy your car, modify your car, have fun with it.
All
It's
right.
that's
I
that's
love
what
that.
makes the community and the culture. So
Yes. All right, guys. So we're gonna tap out. Definitely follow Daily Q50. Link will be below. Man, this was a great series, man. I love starting this
yeah, I
booth,
appreciate
bring
it,
the
man. It
booth
was a good
series,
interview.
and bringing one of the fastest or world record holder. Because I'm sorry, I got a world record holder of this Q50 platform. So much love to Daily Q50. And outside that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm gonna drop that outro, and we're out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boost in Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel.